Greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and today we are playing the second episode with. Yay! Script goes away. This is the second episode of our mini campaign of the last mini campaign of the year. This is Fiasco. This is a GM-less game by Jason Morningstar, in which the characters have mighty ambitions and poor impulse control. We're using a series of playsets that take place in the Los Angeles area over 3 different eras, and we're continuing today with Hollywood Noir by Jeff Moeller, which takes place after the Second World War. Let's go ahead and go around. We'll say hi to everybody, and of course I neglected to set up a thing because once again we don't know who we're playing yet. So say who you are and then anything you'd like to say at all about yourself or anything in the world, really. We're gonna go around. I'm gonna go around and I'm going to let's go counterclockwise. Let's start with Pope. Hello.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Build on the Twitter and on the Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. Good to be back for another Fiasco. Let's see just how this train wreck mode goes and what trouble we get into.
I cannot wait. And Alyssa, hello.
Hiya, folks. My name is Alyssa, she, her pronouns. I'm glad to be here, and when I'm not here, I am busy prepping to run some games in the new year, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yay! Awesome. And finally, Anino, hello.
Hey everybody, my name is Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and I am here.
And for this we are truly grateful. Yes, what is happening today? So, what we did with this, we set up a thing last time, and we're going to kind of see where some of the seeds take us in this episode. Before we get into that, though, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing the line for any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom video chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're doing okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. Something I like, the new version of this game is going to have a Let's Not card in it that folks can tap, kind of like they have the X card actually physically present in For the Queen, and so they kind of are doing something like that here when the next edition comes out, which I think is pretty cool. But let's talk over this setup a little bit. So now, before we dive into the dice, I'm actually just going to go ahead and roll these dice real quick while I'm talking, and we'll see what we can do here. We need to decide which character we are carrying over from the last session. We were kind of there are a few different things that we sort of were a few different ideas. Unfortunately, Kirrily can't be with us at this point. She's not going to be able to continue on it. But it was wonderful having her. So we can't really carry her character over. She was playing the attorney Claudia Black, but we have the dirty cop Charlie Chandler, we have the nightclub owner Silas Webb, we have the IRS accountant Foster Herzog. We could potentially say also that Tony Clifton is not actually dead and carry him over if we wanted to. That just depends on how we want to do this. Okay, so I'm seeing from the reaction here that perhaps he is in fact dead. So, who do we want to yank over to this one?
I think Mr. Herzog should be trying to strike it rich, selling his life story to the studios.
I think it's a good idea. Sure, I can do that. And also, the funny thing is, we'll find out more precisely what it is that he's doing when we get his relationship set up. But yeah, I can do that. That's fine. Okay, let me go ahead, and I will. Well, we know who. So we know who I'm going to be playing. So let me go ahead and get all of these dice separated out here, so we can figure out what our relationships and everything like that are going to be for each other. As always, let me know if this is what I'm seeing is different from what you're seeing. There is a lot less room. Oh, hey! Oh, hey! Backlum23, thank you very much for subscribing. It's much appreciated. Yeah, I'm gonna put the 4s down here. There's a 3, 6s, 4, 2. Okay, there we go. It's a little skewed, but there it is. So we've got 1 1 1 2, and I'm saying 4 2s. Sorry, we've got 1 1, 4 2s, 1 3, 3 4s, 4 5s, and 3 6s. That's what I'm seeing here. So if we're good, we'll go ahead and start going around. Do you folks want me to go first, or does someone else want to go first this time?
Let's have Mr. Herzog go first.
All right, Mr. Herzog shall go first. All right. Let me actually open up the playset real quick. Let me read the let me read us the score here, so that we know what it is that we're looking at. Tinseltown, the Dream Factory, La La Land, in the aftermath of World War II. Me, I'm taught good. In the aftermath of World War II, it is a place where some dreams are born and many others go to die. Everyone thinks that he has what it takes, but in a dog-eat-dog place like Hollywoodland, many are wrong. XGIs desperate for work crowd the hotels and bars, inured to violence and tortured by what they've been through. Young ingenues sing, dance, and act their way up the ladder, and sometimes you have to step on people to keep climbing. Men return after long absences to find that their wives and girlfriends have gotten more complicated. Faded stars yearn for past glory, and everyone comes from somewhere else. Some of these gents and dames don't want you to know where they're really from, or what they're really about, or sometimes who they really are. Secrets, lies, glamour, and booze all flow freely, and a select few call the dance. Private eyes, insurance investigators, spouses trying to save their marriage, and other white knights ply their trade, untangling webs of sleeves that people have killed to keep quiet and will again. But even they are tempted, nearly every day. People gamble when they get dazzled by the footlights, but only the house that really ever wins. For the chance to be a star, it's all worth it. All you need is that one big break. So I think we should start out once again with the relationships. This playset, it's non-standard, so they actually have everything printed on the same page, which is nice. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull one of these 2s. I'm just going to recklessly pull one of these 2s and create a work relationship between Alyssa and Pope. So that's what we're going to be looking at for that. That'll be a work relationship, which for some reason is not actually showing up because the text is not the right color. There we go, work relationship. Okay. And now let's see, if we're continuing clockwise, that means that Anino gets to pick next.
Okay. I am I'm going to grab this 6 here. And I will throw that down here.
Okay. All right, so that is a business relationship between the two of us, between Pope and myself. All right. And that moves things over to Alyssa. Just adjusting the size of
Let's
the
if I
text.
unmute myself.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw the 3 in there.
okay. Friends. We are friends. Awesome.
For now.
For now, yeah. We'll see in a little bit. And back over to Pope.
I am going to define some things. I'm going to take this 6. I think that's the one I want. Let me double check. No, that's not the one I want. Ah, that's what I want. Okay. So, let's take the lone 1 and define this relationship. Agent and client.
Where's me? Okay. Excellent. Agent client. All right. So it is back to me. Let's see. Do. Shall we have another crime relationship? Do we want to do that again? That's a thought. Let's see. We could do that. I feel as though that would be fun. So if you folks are good with it, I'm going to do a crime relationship between Alyssa and Anino. And it's over to Anino. You can start define any of these other 3 relationships that we got here.
The 2 here.
Okay.
In the same production.
Nice. Cool. All right, and it's over to Alyssa.
Two, and put it over here just to make things complicated.
Hitman and target. Excellent. Beautiful, beautiful. And back to Pope. You can, I guess you can define our business relationship. Did you? Oh, yeah, no, we already did that. You can define, what's left? Friendship. You can define the friendship down there below.
Okay, let's make things complicated for the future and take the 2.
Common enemy. Okay. We have a common enemy. Interesting. Okay. I feel as though I'm having thoughts. I feel one way or the other our common enemy is probably Alyssa. Okay, so we have 4 players. So in general, what they recommend for 4 players is having 2 needs, 1 location, and 1 object, which we can do, or we can just do whatever. We can do whatever we want. But let's see. Let's see. I'm going to start with grabbing a location, I think. Oh, okay, yeah, I think I've got to go for this. I'm gonna have to get number 5 under locations, places to deliver long melodramatic speeches. That's very important. Let's see, to whom shall I give that? I think I know, right? It's so good. I think I have to give that to Alyssa and Anino. There we go. That's the category, is places to deliver long melodramatic speeches. Awesome. And it's over to Anino.
I'm sorry, so I'm assigning a need?
So you can do a need, a location, or an object. It's up to you. Or you can define this location that I just put down. Whatever you want to do.
Let's see. I'm going to throw down a 4 here. Secrets.
Okay. Or things. Okay, awesome. Excellent. Secrets. Very cool. And it's over to Alyssa. Yeah, I see they replaced the object. Instead of objects in this playset, they're called things, which actually is interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we've got 4s, 5s, and 6s.
Yep.
Alrighty. let's put a 5 here. Need to learn the truth.
Ah. To learn the truth. Awesome. And it's over to Pope.
Okay. So, one more of those. Okay. We're gonna define things because that's just who I am today. Secrets. I'm going to grab this 4. An unsolved crime.
Interesting. Cool. Okay. So it's back to me. I think I'm going to fill in that last hole there in the major the categories. So I'm going to grab a need here. Let's see. We have. Let's see. To make it really big, to learn the truth. We already have to learn the truth, or to find passion. I think I'm gonna go with to make it really big. So I'm going to put that down here. Need to make it really big. All right. And it's over to Anino.
Learn the truth. To really make it big, to need to make it big.
By something that can't miss script?
That's right.
Awesome. Oh my god. Okay. I have terrible thoughts. Okay. All right. And it's over to Alyssa.
Hey. Alright. Well, whatever it is we need to learn the truth about, somebody's being framed.
Ah, okay, excellent. About who framed you. All right. And Pope, of course, that last die is wild. And so you get to define the location, the places to deliver long melodramatic speeches.
So I'm a fan of a long fall. So let's have 5 stories up right on a ledge.
Excellent. A ledge by a window, 5 stories up. Excellent. There we go. Okay. So we've got all that set up. So now we get to kind of figure out what these things mean and what's going on with them. I'm going to go ahead and drag the dice back out here. Let's see. I wonder if... I'm wondering if one of us... So I think between Anino and myself, one of us has probably written a script of some kind. And we're trying to sell it. Or maybe we both sort of worked on a script. Maybe I'm like we did say, I am a consultant of some kind for basically stuff that happened in 1936 when this thing. It could be a script about the Polka King and what went down with him. And maybe it could be like maybe I'm the consultant and you're writing the script. Do you want to do that, or do you want to say that I wrote the script and you're trying to just sell it, or how do you want to do it?
No, I think I think my character played a significant part in writing the script.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I'm basically so I think it's one of those things where it's like I provided eyewitness stuff, and it's like I've gotten way too invested already in the whole thing, even though it's just not. Even though my own part in it was kind of small, I keep trying to elaborate what all the and my involvement in parts of it that I wasn't involved in at all. That looks good.
Okay, I have an idea as to Alyssa, your identity. So when it comes to scripts, studios can option things, but nothing happens until they're greenlit. And there's only one person who has that stamp. I think you have that stamp. Because that can make you the most loved or hated person in all of Hollywood.
Probably a bit of both.
Now, the interesting thing about this is that between Alyssa and Anino, one of them is actually is a hitman of some kind.
I like the idea if you go with me on a journey, if you will. Of Anino being this professional hit person in Hollywood who is trying desperately to get out of this life of just violence and murder, because he in his heart of hearts he's an artist, and he's been trying this so many different times, but every single time he tries to do something completely whole cloth all on his own, it just gets denied. But in working with Herzog and having this, sort of historical fiction and kind of the mystery surrounding the death of the Polka King, he's really got something here. And the studio has the script, but there's just one obstacle in the way of it getting greenlit. And it's this studio exec that just can't buy this thing actually going anywhere.
It's just so widely speculative.
The name of the script is called Get Tony.
Get Tony, yes.
What kind of a title is that?
Yes. I think there's this.
He's a hitman with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, he only murders people because there's no passion in it. He just happens to be good at it. Like, he's incredibly efficient, but there's no joy there. And it pays the bills.
I love it. I have to wonder if it's like if the studio is only going to buy it if they put like Elliot Ness in it or something, or it's some kind of weird thing because of the IRS connection.
Well, they have this again because looking at the time period, there's still this love for authority figures that's brewing. I mean, you had the old radio show with the G-Men, and trying to twist and torture this script to being something more about action as opposed to this tragic tale of misfortune, misplay, and art. Something so soulful, and they want to turn it into this action picture.
Yeah.
But the guy that they cast to play Tony is too short.
Probably.
Maybe
Nice.
we don't have the ending yet.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're pulling this from.
I have no idea. No clue. No clue. I have no idea. But it delights me. So that's cool. So it's like they're trying to do this, but it's a battle, and it's like there's
this one exec is
compromise.
just like causing nothing but hate and ruckus around this entire production, which has been in limbo.
Yeah.
We'll go to movies to escape from real life. This story is depressing.
Yes, exactly.
There's beauty in tragedy. I kind of like the idea of like this isn't Herzog's first run through Hollywood. That's part of the reason why our beloved hitman has chosen him, because he already has had like 2 or 3 other scripts that he's consulted on that have been picked up.
Okay, yeah.
Well, again, Herzog knew all these seedy details about these ritzy people and
True.
Hollywood's underbelly, and had all that time in prison to write.
This is
So
true.
I think I'm your talent agent.
This is good. I like this.
So I'm invested in also getting this script through.
Yeah.
And getting this production, which I'm already working with this executive with a bunch of my different clients. Like, I've got tons of people. Like, the Writers Guild is just now really becoming a force. And just trying to get stuff into production so I get my cut. And this one person is just standing in the way. And we all know it. But also, again, we have a secret about an unsolved crime hanging in the air.
Yeah. There are a couple things here. Yeah, there's a. Well, I feel like okay. So yeah, if I was writing in prison, I think I was writing books. Probably, I think was going on. So this new script that's come up kind of uses to some extent takes some inspiration from the book or uses it as a source, and I'm kind of consulting on it. But it's more. I think this is more totally just a story that this hitman wants to tell, and just through whatever it is that on his side of things that he'd heard with about Tony.
About Tony, yeah.
Yeah, and so that works out nicely. But yeah, there's apparently there is like an unsolved crime that we got to deal with. We also got to deal with someone framing either you or the executive, or possibly both.
I think the executive has been like unjustly saddled with this horrific reputation of just, let's actually pull from Hollywood. This is an executive who drives talent to commit suicide. That's the reputation.
Oh my god.
Like this person entirely untrue is looked upon in Hollywood as this hell beast. This person that pinches pennies their way or the highway, and terrible things happen when you oppose them. Like all of a sudden somebody's got a drinking habit, somebody all of a sudden's OD'd on something, somebody all of a sudden gets in a car crash.
Yeah, interesting.
They've already been saddled a villain. But at the same time, and as much as they want to prove their innocence, it's also helped them. Because people are a little more gun shy in opposing them.
Yeah.
But they definitely have been framed for a number of terrible things and have had this reputation attributed to them. Which can tie into our unsolved crime.
Yeah. I think that maybe the crime might be important to us because I'm trying to I'm trying to write there's a book I'm trying to write that I haven't been able to finish because I don't actually know what happened. I know the beginning of it, but I don't know what the ending is.
Okay, so we're basing this in real life stuff. Okay, so there could be a mystery involved where, yeah, you're this master of historical fiction and telling these real life stories, but with flair, and just a few minor edits.
Oh yes.
And one of these could be one of the inciting incidents as to this person's reputation. And they know the truth of it. Well, the truth hangs with either the agent or with them. One of them knows the truth as to the crime.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
I would also like to add one object. A diary.
Any particular connection to anything in particular? Or there's a diary that we're...
I think the diary is also part of the story and relationship between our hitman and the executive.
Okay, I can see that. There's maybe a... something that might either exonerate or not exonerate the executive of all these doings. So yeah, maybe so. I'm just curious, Alyssa, what sort of incident do you think might have kicked off this reputation that your executive has?
Let's see. Oh. Maybe some young ingenue in a production that I was working on was found dead under mysterious circumstances.
That works. So it's like maybe she overdosed or
something like that.
Or it looked like she overdosed, but maybe not everything was clear.
Right. Yeah, one of those kinds of things.
Sort of like the cops kind of just sort of decided, no, she overdosed, but there was actually evidence that there had been foul play.
It's an unsolved case.
Yeah.
where there was enough to make it look like murder, but it also could have been suicide, but there was no note.
Yeah. Yeah.
No struggle, no break-in, just slightly roughed up furniture and a body.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, yeah. I'm digging this. I'm digging this. So, do we need any more details here? I know we need some names. Need to figure out what your characters' names are, and probably the name of who that victim was.
I've got mine. Harold Hammer.
Harold Hammer. Harold Hammer.
Agent to the stars.
The agent is this the agent to whom every problem looks like a nail?
Yeah. It can be solved quickly.
Nice.
All you have to do is apply enough force.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I like
Cat Carlton.
Cat Carlton.
Good name. Good name. Oh. Like, you can do this entire thing of, like, the Lady and the Tiger thing in the trades, and just... oh, like,
Nice.
journalists just love her because she's such a great villain.
Nice.
I guess I'll go. Mitch Morgan. Might as well continue this train.
Yeah, continue the Stanley naming quality. Stanley naming standard. Cool. All right. Very cool. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm the odd man out here. Okay. So do we want to? Let's see. What do we have any idea for what the name of the ingenue might have been? Whose murder I'm ending up kind of investigating because I desperately want to try to get this book finished since I've been coasting on everything that I wrote in prison.
I have the last name. I don't have the first. Hathaway.
That's a fairly well used name. Dude pulls up name generator. Let's see. How about Nicole Hathaway? See? All right. And that's something that must have happened a few years ago.
Herzog was in the clear. He was in the clink.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. As the cool. All right. So, do we have any other details we want to throw at this, or do you think we should just start and see what happens?
Let's start this party.
We get it. All right. Yeah, we'll sort of develop this out as it goes. So let's see here. I'll go ahead and start. So So I think that in setting this up, I'll go ahead and establish a scene where I am. I think I need to find information about this thing that's been going on. Yeah. So I'm torn in two different directions again. I think I'll go. I'm gonna try to make it go clockwise again this time. So, something to sort of establish a relationship between Herzog and Morgan. Something that'll sort of help us figure out the kind of how it is that it's going on. I think maybe it'll be a question of, I think maybe this will take place, so, is the script, the script is hasn't been sold yet, so I think that, I think we're trying to figure out what to do about Kat Carlton. I think we're meeting and trying to figure this out because she seems to be a problem, an obstacle to getting the script sold. So I think we're meeting up and trying to figure out how to deal with that obstacle. If that sounds good to you, maybe we're at like we're at like a coffee place or something of that nature.
Sure, a diner maybe.
Yeah, we're at a diner. And I just basically have heard about the fact that the studio keeps sending it back, so I've heard about it. So I just we're trying to meet up and try to figure this out. So I think Foster is, and basically all what I want out of the scene is just sort of a plan of some kind, just sort of a plan of action to figure something out. So I think Foster is sitting chain smoking. He's obviously he's older. He's like about a dozen years older than we saw him last time. So he's like more further into middle age. I can't remember how old he was before. I think he's late middle age at this point. So he's got now more sort of steel gray hair. And a mustache at this point. And he's sitting at the diner chain smoking. He's got the sort of sitting with Mitch at the diner. It's like he's bringing in a couple of cups of coffee. It's like, all right. So yeah, it's says they rejected it again. Yeah, just did they say why this time?
No, I just think that they didn't really find any of the characters to be how you say endearing.
I mean, if there's
none of them were pretty likable.
I mean, it's very strange. If there's one thing Tony was, he was endearing, if nothing else. He was beloved by millions, hundreds of thousands maybe, but still, it's. I don't think the problem is the script, to be perfectly honest. Because we've been going at this for banging our heads against the wall for it's several months now. It's not getting through. I think it could be that Carlton woman.
Well, I suppose it could be. But what are we gonna do? She's the one who makes all the decisions.
Yeah. Huh. What if she's put out of the way? Huh?
You mean like fired from her job?
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. There's a possibility. I mean, there's some. I mean, I've been trying to dig up dirt on her for a while, so it's if we can find that, then that maybe. There's a lot of questions around some around the specials I've been looking into to try to figure out what's been going on with that Hathaway case, but. I mean, so that's one possibility. Absolutely, if we can somehow make that happen. But right now, there's been nothing. I've had absolutely nothing that I can grab hold of on it. So I suppose, well, I mean, short of. There are certain things from in my experience you can get away with that would seem rather ridiculous if you're doing everything else above board.
My gosh, I hope you're not suggesting murder, because that is very dirty business, sir.
Well, I should probably know better than to suggest murders. The last time I suggested it, things didn't go that well.
Well, I mean, that's what you get when you don't hire professionals to do it.
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. What was I thinking? Going to a cop. Well,
a drunk cop, no less. Who, I might add, is one of the least likable characters in the script right now.
Charlie had a certain charm once you actually got to know them. But well. I suppose that a professional was. Would have a better idea of how to do such things, yeah?
Yes. But maybe there are some professionals who are looking to make a career change.
I understand.
There's no art in death unless you're some sort of weird serial killer. And I like to think that I'm not that level of psychotic.
All right. So let's for the moment table the idea of killing.
Besides, even if we were to kill her, what's going to stop the next exec in line from just killing the script too?
That's true. It's a chance. But I mean, with the reputation she's got. Oh. Well. So here's a thought. I presume that along with a certain set of skills that might be required to snuff someone out, one also has certain other complementary skills that involve getting into places and finding things, that sort of thing, yeah? I understand
More or less.
I understand it's not something you necessarily want to do right now, but if we could dig up something more on Miss Carlton that we could have as perhaps leverage, that might help us get it through.
Well, I suppose I would need to know where exactly her office or her house is in order to do such a thing.
Well, I have been to our office. So I know where that is. The house, I'd have to talk. I think my agent may have been there once. I have to ask. I'd have to ask Harold about that. Um, but at the very least, I can give you the info in the office for now, and then kind of get the rest of it comes as need be. Yeah.
Sure.
I understand. If we can find something, this might actually be a way to get this thing through, and we both need it. We both need it. I'll write down the address. And I think that's probably the scene.
Sure.
If we feel it, do we feel that went well for me, or is there a
Oh no, that went poorly for
that
you.
went poorly for me? Well, it's true. I didn't exactly get what I wanted, which was more of her out of the way. Uh, I shall take that die. And then I must give it away, because we're still playing these roles. Here, a black die. Here, friend, have a black die. And it's over to you. Your scene. What do you want to establish or resolve?
Resolve, I guess.
Okay. So, what do we want to have? What do we want to have Mitch in the middle of doing?
Oh, you suggested needing to talk to your agent, so he may take the initiative, being the man of action that he is, and come over to Harold's office. Have a sit down, heart to heart.
That could happen. Yeah, we could say that that he's heading over to get more information about where Cat lives. um, Perhaps. As far as the agenda of pushing this script forward. And if or anything else in any other handles that they can get on it. Find out maybe if Harold knows something. Harold might know something. I think that suspicion is probably in the air that Harold might have some knowledge about Cat that might prove useful. So yeah, since I think Mitch is a professional who before just breaking and entering will actually do what research is necessary. Yeah, I think maybe he's going to see Harold. Is he in your? Is he going to be in Harold's office or what?
Also, going with Mitch being, as thoughtful as he is, it's not going to be at the office. That puts the power in Harold's hands. No, this is going to be. How about we have a flash? How about we take a location that's still around? Why don't we go to the track?
We can do that. Is I take it Hammer likes playing the horses?
No, he loves the buffet.
That's fair. It is a very good buffet. From what I hear. Awesome. So that's I think what we're setting up here. So Anino, at some point you can just decide, hey, this is going to go well for me or not, and then
Yeah.
We
So
resolve it.
we'll say we're in one of the private boxes, both loaded up on food, just sitting down watching a race. Feel free to start at any time.
All right. So tell me, Harold, as Mitch is eating a slice of apple pie and drinking coffee. So tell me, when movie executives aren't exactly breaking the hearts and dreams of millions of people, what are they doing?
Yeah, I just heard the news about your script. Um, this is about Cat, isn't it? Hell. Cat, she's connected. She's ensconced. Um, at the studio, like you know the reputation in the trades. She's a black widow of sorts, the tiger of Tinseltown. Um, but she lives large. She has a soft spot for going to the opera or ballet. I think she's a patron of the local symphony orchestra, one of their angel donors. Um, so she can usually be found out as far away from the damn studio as possible half the time, which makes my job a living hell. Um, she's got a nice place. It's up over on Mulholland. Got a big view of the valley. Um, Large monstrosity of a building. I mean, she's loaded.
Yeah.
Has this wonderful, like, when she has people over, especially business meetings, she likes to take them out to the balcony overlooking the pool. It's a long drop, but it's beautiful.
Long drop, like I don't know, what, 5 stories maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that.
But no, real nice place. But I can see what I can do. I know because of some of the other folks I'm representing, I'm going to be in a meeting with her eventually. Um,
Oh
let's
yeah.
see.
You know what?
Um, let me, yeah, pulls out a little black book. Yeah, I'm seeing her Thursday about, well, it's an after lunch meeting, so she'll be thrilled. 3 p.m. That's going to be over at the studio.
Ah, alrighty then. So you don't think that she does she live with anyone?
Aside from her pets, no, she lives alone.
What kind of pets?
Well, I know about Precious, this Persian she's got. Absolutely like thrilled with him. Um, she's got some peacocks that under the property. Uh, and I think there's a dog, but I've never seen it. I've just heard it.
Is it a does it sound like a big dog or a
It sounds big. I don't know what it is, but it sounds big.
fantastic?
But yeah,
Well,
no.
hopefully
Aside,
she doesn't. You don't think that she would head home anytime early that evening, would she?
Kat always has something planned for her evening, unless it's Sunday, in which case she usually just stays home. But knowing her, it's going to be a bit of a, well, it'll be after lunch, so there won't be shouting. Um, Probably get out of the meeting, probably go into another one, and then she'll probably meet up with a couple of her pals to go somewhere. I don't know where.
Oh, well, all right. I guess knowing her schedule is a good thing.
Yeah,
So,
she
what do
she
peacocks eat?
I I am not a peafowl expert. Um, I just know they're loud, like surprisingly loud. And while they don't like fly, they can jump really freaking high. Um, it's, it's kind of unsettling. Um,
kind of pompous jerk do you have to be to keep peacocks on your home? Man.
She's got this thing about, you know, the well, she's a fan of the Errol Flynn picks. Like, she has this entire thing about like period royalty. I mean, incredibly well manicured lawn and garden. Like, it's a thing. And like back in the day, keeping peacocks was a way for both having essentially an early warning system, and it was a sign of wealth.
No. Well, I can't imagine an icon like that selling any sort of entertainment whatsoever. But what can we say?
We can say
Thanks.
that the food's good.
Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't
Eh,
love apple pie at
well,
11 a.m. in the morning?
I'll see what I can do on my end, Mr. Morgan. I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
How
I'm
do you
going to
think?
say that went poorly for him because he has to contest now animals,
Oh
and
God!
he does not like animals at all.
Oh, nice. Who do you want to give that die to?
Uh, I guess I'll give that to
Huh.
Cat
Yay. I can't wait to see how this what happens. This is so good. All right. Um, so it's over to Alyssa. You ready? Yeah. Want to establish your resolve?
Well, let's see. I think we've already established that Kat is going to be out of the house for a significant amount of time.
That's fair, but you can also, you can move it wherever you want. It's no big deal.
All right. What do we suppose that that meeting with Harold is going to be about?
I think the meeting is over, you know, a couple of the upcoming projects that have been greenlit, and making certain that the contracts are all in order and his clients are fine with rewrites.
You want to are you setting up that scene or what?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you want that to be at your? So is that at your house or is? Yeah. Or is that somewhere else?
I would say probably at the office.
Okay.
Okay, so on property. All right.
Yeah.
What else would you like? Would you like any other people to be there, or would you like any other things in particular to be there? Would you like to have any pets there? What would you like to?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
I suppose possibly an assistant hovering in the background.
Sure. Yeah, if you want, I'll do the assistant.
Assistants' names are always Jimmy.
Are they?
In honor of Jimmy Olsen, they are always Jimmy.
That's
Like
the thing.
they're like clones. Are the female assistants also named Jimmy? Is that how that works?
2 eyes, yes.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we just need to tighten up that bit in Act 2, and then it's good to go.
I'll see what I can do in talking with John about that.
We've got to keep the pacing. We can't lose the audience.
Catherine, they're setting up for a damn, period piece about, naval battles on water. They're going to be kept in their seats. I'll talk to John.
Well, as long as they're in the seats, what does it really matter if they fall asleep or not? I suppose that's what you're saying.
Cat.
Yeah. Harold.
I'll talk to John. Now, about the Morgan property.
This
I know it.
again.
Yes, this again. All right. I fight for my clients. It's what I do. Now, the Morgan thing.
What about it?
You're holding it up because he's riding on Hathaway, aren't you? I take that as a yes. He's not going to drop it. I've already talked with him. His head's like a steel trap. All right?
Fine, but
He's latched onto this, and he's not going to let it go. You and me both know that's Oscar-worthy material, and it should get in production.
and we need Oscar-worthy star power.
That's your problem, not mine. So greenlit let damn thing. I mean, if you're really hurting, like for Tony, I think I can, talk Hudson into it. But you need to greenlight it. And here, what if the halfway thing is driving you that up the wall? I can arrange for Herzog, myself, and you to have a sit down. We can talk it out, clear the air, and then we can get Morgan's thing rolling. It'll make all of us money. It'll be the talk of the trades instead of it being on page 6 saying that the Tiger of Tinseltown has frowned on this beloved biopic yet again.
Fine. If it'll make you happy, Harry, we can have a sit down.
Kat, I know it's an uncomfortable bit, okay? It's a sore spot for me too, but let's just get this out in the air, all right?
All right. Let's... If it'll get him to drop it, we can have a chat.
All right. So, Jimmy, I guess I'll see you when you guys figure out when that's going to be the best time.
Sure thing.
All right. Is there any other business? Are we ready to get rolling?
I think we're good.
All right.
Jimmy will let you know when my schedule's clear.
Could you give us a second, Jimmy?
Jimmy glances over at Kat for confirmation. He then leaps up a little too quickly and scrambles from the room.
I'll do what I can, Kat. Okay? I mean,
know
the
you would
entire
agree.
the entire reason I took Herzog is because I knew this was one of his pet projects when he was back in the clink. All right, that's why I took him on. Okay, I'll do what I can, but at the same time, he's already made independent money. He's not loaded like you are, but he's no slouch. And rumor has it that he's still connected with a lot of bad people. And I'm just trying to keep him on the straight and narrow as best I can.
I don't need any more trouble over Nicole. Got enough as it is, so if it'll help smooth things over,
Okay,
I'll think about it.
that's all I need to hear. All right? Sorry about this. See you later.
Okay. I'm feeling that might have been a black die. For Kat. What do you folks think? I don't know. I don't think she got what she wanted. She kind of got backed into a corner. All right. Who do you want to give that die to?
You can have it.
Yay! Okay, let's see, and it'll be over to Pope. I do want to just note we may want to we want to get a break in here. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to do a scene first?
Let's do a scene, then take a break.
I'm good with that. All right, Pope, do you want to
That way we'll
establish
have
a result?
gone a full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
I'd like to establish a scene. I think this is in Harold's office, with Herzog sitting down, talking things out. Okay. I talked with Carlton.
Hmm. And?
And she's willing to have a meeting. It's about the Hathaway thing.
Is she trying to silence it?
She's not thrilled about it, considering that how close to home it is. But we can at least sit down, the three of us, hash things out. Now, you didn't hear it from me, but if we can clear this stuff up, you and Morgan's picture goes green.
Well, that certainly would be something. And take care of the problems. But you are aware of what's... I'm very close on the Hathaway thing. You know, it's... strikes me as something very big, very important.
Hey, we talked about this soon, the first day you were in this office. All right? I know. I was friends with Nicole at the time. Okay? If anyone wants to know what actually happened to her, it's me. But at the same time, with this town, you gotta play ball. And I'm not saying you have to drop the entire thing. Just have a meeting with her. Maybe take it in a slightly new direction. Okay?
And if I can get a better perspective on it, that'll be helpful, because I need to get this... you've got to understand, I mean, getting the script greenlit, I'm all for that. That's going to help a great deal, but the thing is, I got to get this book out, or... I'm going, there's no future beyond that.
Okay. just take the meeting with an open mind. And I know how you can get testy sometimes. I need you to rein that in. Let me be the bad guy.
Don't get testy, he says, snapping a match out of a matchbook and trying to strike it. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's it. Like, Ubisoft, soft-spoken, least threatening thing in the room. Let me be the bad guy, all right?
Yes, that's something I can do.
Okay.
I suppose.
Good.
But,
I'm supposed to be hearing from her assistant, like, any day now. We can set everything up, have this meeting, clear the air, and maybe we can get 2 of your projects moving.
if this
But
is
you have
something
to be
she's-
willing to compromise.
You know, in certain places, compromise can get you dead.
I just know how to grease the wheels in this town.
I understood. I'm just saying that it's not something. If I'm going to compromise, I have to be damn certain my throat's not going to get cut as a result. Metaphorically, in this case, presumably. Well, it is Carlton, so it might not be that metaphorically, yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, I've got a 4 o'clock incoming, so I need to get my head on straight.
All right. I will be a good boy.
Thank you.
He gets up and off and leaves. I don't know if that went well for you or not.
I don't know either. I mean, I got a verbal agreement, but that doesn't seem to mean jack.
It's fair. I'm too close. Alyssa and Anino, what do you think? What color dye does this warrant?
Probably black.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. We use up all these black dice. Everything's going to go so well for everyone later in the second act. Pope, well, who do you want to give the die to?
I'm Alyssa, have this gift.
Thank you, darling.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick break. And we will be back shortly. See you in a bit. Hey, folks. Pope and I are going to chat a little bit about Fiasco whilst we're on break and just sort of see where the conversation takes us. Played before. Pope, I believe you've played the Saturday Night 1978. Is that the name of the place?
Yeah, Saturday Night 78. It is a time of disco, a time of drug abuse, a time in New York, to just Studio 54 it up and just have terrible people have terrible things happen to them. You're usually part of the club scene in one way, shape, or form. Your drugs are tangentially or focused involvement, and it's very much these relationships of people trying to get rich quick, get out, or get laid. And it's very frenetic. It's interesting with Fiasco doing period pieces as opposed to doing modern pieces, because you're focusing on the pop culture tropes, as it were, for that time period, and it causes an interesting sort of false nostalgia whilst you're playing through it. And as Fiasco has the delight to do, you get to just cause these people no end of misery and sorrow and make all the bad life choices. 78 being no different in that go in expecting that your character is going to do something awful and that they're going to go to prison for it, and you'll have a great time.
I mean, yeah, that's good to expect pretty much any time you're playing, but that's very cool. I've never actually played that playset. That was it was an alternate choice for one of the things I was sort of setting up as I made up a whole bunch of lists of possible playsets we could do for this series. That was on one of the lists, but we hadn't ever quite gotten to it. I saw that's the one. That's the Will Wheaton one, right?
Yes, that's the Will Wheaton one.
Yeah,
that was the impetus for actually sitting down and playing that particular one was that piece in the early days of Geek and Sundry, them doing that playset, and that was the first exposure for me and my friends to Fiasco.
Cool.
And it was just like, okay, let's grab the playset that they used, sit down, try this game out. I had a blast.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a lot of favorite playsets. I've been playing for a very long time now. I think it's, well, in gamer terms, it's like, so it's been like 10 years. I first heard about it on, my introduction to Fiasco was a podcast called Brilliant Gameologists. That folks were doing at the time, and they talked about it, and I was very interested, so I picked up the game, and we tried out a few different things. My first playset was the Ice, which is in the core book. That's what a lot of people's first playset is, from what I understand. I will say, like I said, I have a lot of favorite playsets. In particular, Gangster London, in particular, Los Angeles 1936, which we got to play last week. But what I will mention here is I did once get to play with Jason Morningstar at a convention here in North Carolina. As it turns out, he is in North Carolina, or was at the time. I'm not sure if he still is. At this time, the convention, Mace, was held further east. It was not held here in Charlotte, where I live, but it was held around, I think it was High Point, where the furniture is, where all the furniture comes from. We played. I sat down, and this was just a guy, and I sat down with Brian, who folks have seen on the channel before. That was actually my first time really interacting with Brian. It was this guy was going to run us through a couple of play sets, and Jason Morningstar and Steve Seghetti were there, and they said, "Oh, you mind if we join?" Because there was just the three of us at the table, and we were like, "Yes." So they sat down, and we played one of the play sets that was still kind of in play testing at the time, which was De Medici. That takes place in the sort of Renaissance era Italy, we basically we did this whole thing set up with members of noble families and stuff, and we actually, as I recall, we began that scenario with my character in a duel with someone else's character. And over the course of it, we told the story of how we came to be dueling each other. And it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. Especially having both Jason and Steve in that game just blew my mind at the time. Because they are excellent players of that game. They're excellent players of that game, strangely enough, being that they came up with it. So it was a lot of fun. We played that. Then we went on to play a second playset because I'd signed up for 2 Fiasco slots back to back, and the second slot was Lucky Strike, and they still had nothing much they needed to do aside from that, so they stayed and they played that one too. And it was just a crazy amount of fun. I was exceptionally lucky to be able to get to play that with them, and it was really cool. It was very, very cool. So that's my turn. It just the name dropping.
But it's amazing to have that experience, and definitely hold on to that as something where it focuses your love on this brilliant game, of being able to be terrible, be okay with it, and have terrible things happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's get back to terrible things happening. We shall throw it back to ourselves. See you in a bit. We have returned, and we now proceed into our next scene, which is my scene. So I think we should just continue this train and see where it goes. So I think we're going to be having a meeting. We're going to be having our sit down. Cat and Hammer and Herzog. I think that it's a. It could be like a one of those working lunches sometimes that folks do. And so we might be out at like a Brown Derby like place or something similar. I think that I have during this time I have perhaps let it slip to Morgan that we're going to be out at this meeting at this time, just in case that Morgan wants to use that as a window of opportunity for anything. But that's completely up to him, though. So, yeah, I think that this is basically that sit down where we're trying to figure out we're trying to air things out with respect to the Hathaway situation and my pursuit thereof. And I guess that I guess we'll go ahead and just sort of see what happens. We're kind of, I think we're all sitting down at this point to chat about it, and so Herzog just sort of comes up. He has a notebook in hand, and he, in one hand, in the other hand, he's reaching into his pocket and he's pulling out a cigarette case. Good afternoon, Harold, Ms. Carlton, and just sort of slowly we'll be
Mr.
sitting down.
Herzog?
Would you care for a cigarette?
Don't mind if I do.
And they're some of those weird, slightly long cigarettes, and he closes up. He takes one. He lights it. He sits down. Listen, I expect we should get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to it. So, Miss Carlton, my client is definitely behind the eight ball, as it were, to produce another book. He's done a lot of research into the Hathaway case. Has a few holes that need to be shored up, but I also know that you have concerns. considering how this town works. So, if there's something that you want to be forthcoming with, if there's anything that you want to lay on the table, opinions, concerns, please, let's do this now.
I'm sure we can all agree that it was a terrible tragedy what happened to Miss Hathaway. My concern is that if there's too much buzz about it right now, nobody's going to want to come work for me.
Well, I can certainly understand that. I should point out that, however, that I'm afraid the publishers are demanding a draft within by the end of the month, and you know how New York can be.
Yes, I do know how New York can be. But I understand you have a picture in development that you're hoping to get greenlit, and I think that Mr. Hammer and I both agree that it has potential. But if I can't get the star power to bring that potential to fruition, it's not going to be as successful as we might all hope. You understand? So if we can just perhaps get a bit of an extension on your book about Miss Hathaway, get things rolling with
How about
picture.
Miss Carlton? How about compromise? Foster, you think you could get Miss Carlton a draft before you send it off to your publisher? Just to put her mind at ease, and we can all just move forward.
It might be possible, but I would request something, if I might. And this is... I do not ask much. This is something rather simple. I would like, if I might, to hear Miss Carlton's side of the story.
I suppose that could be arranged.
Ah. Well then. I think I could see fit to allow you to view a draft prior to it being sent off to the publisher, yeah.
Okay, so we're all in the clear then. You two can figure out when to sit down, have your Q&A, but the Herzog-Morgan picture, Tony gets to get going, right? In exchange, you're going to make certain that Miss Carlton gets her preview copy, right? Are we all in agreement?
Provided that that interview clause is also respected, yeah. It's a Q&A we just spoke.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll
Okay.
read what you've written, and I will be happy to share my side.
Hmm.
And your picture gets the star power it deserves.
Okay, then. Cool. Excellent. Fantastic. I don't know about you, but I could use some dessert.
Yeah. And it just raises his glass of water because he hasn't ordered anything yet. And I think that's probably the scene.
Very awkward eating for
Yeah.
about a good 20 minutes.
Awkward, tense negotiation. So how did that go? I feel as though that might have gone well, but you can tell me.
It seems like it went well for you.
Well, yeah. It's my
Yeah,
scene.
I think you got a lot more out of this than anybody else at the table.
I agree. I shall give this die to my agent.
Okay.
And now we are over to Anino.
Well, I guess I'll resolve another scene.
Okay. So do we want to have Mitch breaking in somewhere, or do we do something else?
I think we have Mitch going up to Mulholland, going to the property, and just surveilling this palatial palace and its menagerie of critters, and just letting him get a feel for the place and maybe test a couple of things.
Yeah. I think we could do that. Yeah, that would be a solo scene, so it wouldn't be a thing that necessarily has. It just mostly is just a little action going on, and that'd be basically what we see. So,
We'll
and
let
I think
Anino narrate this train wreck.
yeah, basically, Anino actually also would get to decide what it is since he's resolving. So you get to tell us what you find.
This did not work out the way I wanted it to.
Or you could say, or if you want, you could just say, "I find something good" or "I find something bad," and we could throw suggestions at you if you'd prefer.
No, it's fine. So I want to say it's a little bit later in the evening. The sun is setting, and chooses that time to sneak into the place. So he's sort of checking out the perimeter. I'm assuming that this place has gates, as well as a very tall wall in which to climb over. So you'll probably try to climb a tree that's bordering one of these walls, just so that he can stay hidden but peer over it and see what's on the grounds exactly. If there are any people, if there are any animals around on the front grounds, let's find a easy path in and out of the house.
Cool. Yeah, I think that probably you get up there and you'll see. I just feel as though if you've got I don't know if you have binoculars or something like that, just sort of on you, just sort of looking at the grounds. There's probably some area sort of off to the side where you see these near kind of like a fountain, where you see these two these two peacocks just sort of wander past. But I don't know. Does Mitch find anything interesting? Do we think?
Do you want this to go good? Because you're the one that's resolving it, or you want it to go badly?
I think he should get what he wants, or get something to push the story along, but at a fair price.
Okay. I think one of the things that he notices is that one of the wings of this place is getting some work done.
Hmm.
And that there's a number of different size ladders that are all gathered up in one section outside, right towards the front of the property. And there's a number of balconies. Um, and who knows if those balcony doors are unlocked or not.
Yeah. So there's access. Potentially, it might be difficult to do. There might be a difficulty with getting in, maybe, or it might be fine.
It may be a breeze.
Yeah.
So I think probably going to get a little fancy and create a makeshift scaffold in order to get himself up to one of the lower balconies and climb in through there. He would probably end up just breaking a window panel in the door or something to open it.
Okay, so I think that probably he'd get in, and there might be a moment where there's like the sound of a dog yapping on like a floor below, but you don't actually see actually see the dog. And maybe you're gonna let's see if you get some kind of what is he in here to get? He's in here to get evidence, right? So
yeah, so he's going to be looking for the office or the master bedroom, primarily, just so that he can, find any documents, things like that, or maybe a diary of some sort.
Okay. Yes. So my storytelling instinct is telling me that he's going to find a wall safe. I think in the master bedroom, maybe.
Yeah, he finds the wall safe there. He also finds, there's a number of small books in the dresser next to the bed. And that's when feel free to name this beast. But this large black Irish wolfhound all of a sudden comes through into the bedroom and just grabbing a number of these small books, knowing where the wall safe is, grabs the little books, not all of them, but some of them, and then skedaddles.
Okay. I was thinking he would probably try to distract the dog with several links of sausages. Together.
Yeah. If you came, he could have come prepared. Yeah,
he could come prepared for the dog. So tosses the dog, and then just considering the size and immensity of this beast, probably beats a very quick retreat. But now knows that the dog has a price, and that price is sausage.
Yes. Wasn't a very good guard dog.
Yeah. Apparently not.
But okay, I think that's basically it, unless he finds something else going on in the house that he shouldn't know, like maybe the executive's husband having relations with someone.
This is an interesting question. Do we know if we haven't really established whether Kat has Kat's married or not? But maybe there's a hint of there's somebody who has been there. She's had somebody in that bedroom.
If I may, because I love myself some noir, and this is reminding me of a number of distinctive stories, especially with Nicole's death. There are 2 wine glasses. We've established that she lives alone, but in the bedroom, there are 2 wine glasses. One is smudged with lipstick. And we established that the lipstick is this bright red lipstick. The hourglass is clean.
I kind of almost want him to get away with like it wouldn't be like something almost that would be identifying, right? Like a dropped wallet or something belonging to. I'm thinking of doing it the other way around, right? Where Cat lives alone, but the person that was there is married.
I was going in a different direction. A far, especially at the time period, a far more scandalous direction.
So maybe a handkerchief with initials on it.
Yeah, a handkerchief
yeah.
under one of the glasses with a monogram.
Okay.
With
I think he would
very
probably
noir.
snatch that up. Yeah. He'd probably snatch that.
Yeah, that's good. Excellent. Cool. So I think that went well for you, probably. If that's if you
Exceedingly
feel
well.
if you agree, I mean it's Anino's choice. Who do you want to give?
Yeah.
the
Okay.
die?
I guess I'll. Who will I give the die to?
Yeah.
I think we're going to give that to Alyssa because it was good for me and really bad for her.
Now, just as a note, so yeah, I saw that you moved one of the black dice. If it was good for you, that would have been a that would have been a white die. That you would have picked up.
Okay.
I mean, if you think that it was bad for your character, then you could then you could say it's a black die. Because again, you have the narrative. You kind of have the narrative power in the situation to adjust this. Anything that Weebosos are suggesting, you may feel free to.
All right. No, I'll throw a white die at Pope. Then.
Okay. Cool. And it's over to Alyssa.
Well, the dog's name is Duke, by the way.
Excellent.
Duke is an amazing and terrifying beast who has a weakness for sausage.
Yes. So now what? The plot thickens.
Well, you can choose to establish or set. I should say resolve or set.
I will resolve the scene because I don't have any ideas for how to set it up right now.
I kind of feel like I want to see who's on the other end of that handkerchief, but maybe it's a little too soon for that.
I think that's a second act reveal.
Yeah, that's probably a second act reveal.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll hold on to that one for a while.
But maybe this is just a solo scene where we get to see Kat sort of going about her place, figuring out where she's going to have this meeting with Herzog. And maybe if she notices that things are missing as well. So like her possible discovery of the break-in and her reaction.
Yeah. I have actually an interesting alternative for if... Yes. But I have an interesting idea as to whether she... So I think if she decides that this is a good scene for her, that she'll find out... Well, I mean, it's not going to be good either way because she got broken in. But she might find some piece of information that will be helpful. If it's black die, she might think it's something else or something to do with whoever might be at the other end of the handkerchief. Maybe. That's a thought. Just an option.
Or the paparazzi.
Yeah.
Their veracity at the time.
Oh.
So I guess how do you think this is going to go for you?
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be good or bad?
It doesn't seem to have been going well for me so far. I don't see why it should change now.
Oh. Well, Do you want to walk us through it, or do you want us to kind of like, as a group, collaboratively describe the scene?
I'm good with the collaboration.
Okay.
Like, I
So,
come home, get rid of the big fur coat,
oh,
pet the dog.
I think the dog. I think the first hint of something being weird is probably going to be the dog. The dog's not. Well, I mean, I do not own a dog, so I do not know if there's a hunger threshold.
There is, but there's, as a dog owner, you often can tell when they've gotten into something that you didn't give them.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes there's a guilty look, or when you first get home, they come running. When they've done something naughty, they don't come running.
Wow.
So you come in and Duke's not there to meet you.
Duke, where'd you get off to, boy? So I go looking for the dog to make sure he hasn't gotten into any trouble.
And I and we're saying this is bad. So he's not responding as you come up into the master bedroom, doors ajar, and you see Duke curled up at the foot of your bed, just content, a little bit of moonlight pouring in from the window, illuminating the licking and grease that is across your floor. And you see ever so slightly ajar, because, again, probably has beautiful antique furniture. That drawer that you keep those little books in, that you know precisely how to slide that back so it sets right.
Mm-hmm.
Is at an angle.
Yes, I have a secretary like that at home. So, of course, I'm going to go rifling through the drawers to see what's missing.
I'd say if this resolves badly for you, then I think it's books that have something in it possibly incriminating.
Of course.
Of you, maybe, or of someone, or perhaps of someone you care about. Hard to say.
Possibly that diary or a date book of some kind.
Yeah. And I think we see your concern.
We do.
And I think that might be the scene.
So who you want to gift that black die to?
Go, Anino.
There we go. You got it. All right, and it's over to Pope.
I don't really have a scene to establish at this point. So I will let the group establish a scene that I will resolve.
Excellent. Okay. Let's see. Part of me, I don't know why this didn't happen last time, but part of my the Dirty Secrets brain is trying to engage, and I'm wanting to just throw noir tropes at you without actually knowing why they're there. Because I feel like this is more or less the time at which someone would come and try to beat somebody up. But I'm not sure who it would be or why.
Okay.
And why Hammer would be a target.
I have this. I have this. I'll narrate the scene. You've established someone beats up Hammer.
Yeah, I think someone's gonna. I think someone. Yeah.
Someone comes to beat up Hammer.
So,
You established that.
Big thug person. Yes.
So Hammer's in his office late at night. And this meat mountain of a man comes in, just barges in, like leans over the desk, looming over Hammer, and goes, "Son of a bitch, I know it was you who's dating Nicole behind my fucking back." Hammer just looks up, sees this, and buddy, I'm telling you, it's not me. Walk away. You're not gonna like where this goes. Swings, connects, like jaws nearly broken. Pulls a switchblade. Hammer does, and just buries it in this guy's hand on the desk. To get into a nasty tussle. And at some point a gun gets pulled. There's 2 shots. We see a little blood spray across the window of the office, and that's where it cuts.
What color dye would you like?
I would like a white dye.
Oh, okay. Who would you like to give it to?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to give it. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Alyssa.
All right.
Because I know in my head the story that's going on here, but I also wanted to leave it as nebulous as possible.
Yeah.
For the second act.
Nice. All right. Well, we're at the tilt. So it is time once again to roll the dice that you have in your little box, and we will see what we have. Again, you can click and drag. So right hand, choose side, random side. Okay. So I know I'm not going to be involved in this tilt very much. Let's see. Okay, if we've got everything rolled here, it looks like Pope's going to be one of the people because he's got the most white there. That's like 11 in white. Anino has like 6 black, so I think Anino is going to be the other to do this. So we go to the tilt table. Well, before we go to the tilt table, I guess we better roll the dice in the center. Let me do that. And random side. There we go. Okay. Okay, we got so we got 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6. 1, 2, 5, and 6 available. Who wants to go first?
Sure.
Okay, you get to pick one of those 6 tilt categories.
Yeah. Oh. Oh no, there's not that one. That's the one number that's missing. Okay. Yeah, there are 2 numbers missing. Oh my.
Yep.
We're gonna grab the 6. We're gonna have a failure.
Failure. All right. So we've got failure. So Anino, you get to grab one of the remaining dice and assign that to find the failure.
Stupid plan executed to perfection.
Ah, yes. Excellent. I love that one. A stupid plan executed to perfection. And you now get to grab one of the other dice and once again pull out a category. It's going to be a 2 or a 5. It's going to be either tragedy or paranoia. Okay, paranoia. All right, and Pope, you get to define paranoia as it's either a 2 or a 5. Probably.
Oh, the thing you stole has been stolen.
Yes.
These were not her books.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's really good. That is good. Okay. So yeah, that is, I think, what that means. Probably. Those might not have been her books. Those are someone else's books. And rather important. Excellent, excellent. Let's see. So this is the point at which, usually in the ordinary course of things, folks will take a little break and wander off and then come back. But since we have the we're in weird time, we're just going to talk about it, I think, for a minute and then start the second act. Anything we want to make sure we see in Act 2? I know we got to tilt some stuff. Mm-hmm.
There are two things that I need. I need these. One, to find out who else was in Kat's bedroom.
Oh yeah, I need that too.
I need this. Need it. And I need something that I need to find out, because I kind of established this, but I don't know the truth of the matter. Why Harold and Kat are on such chummy terms.
Well, that's the thing we
Those are
can
two
probably...
things I know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing we can explore in scenes a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I would like to know why someone came and beat you up. Probably they think that you're responsible for something to do with Nicole, which is kind of telling. Yeah, I think I need to... I have a thought about a prison connection I might bring in for Herzog, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. Actually, my scene's coming up next, so something might happen in a moment. Do I want to become the villain so early in the game? Oh, who knows? Yeah. And I just want to see what this stupid plan is that's going to be executed to perfection. Any other thoughts? Anything anyone thinks we should make sure we lean on?
Just we really need to find out how those books that were stolen got stolen.
Yeah.
B, who has them now?
Oh well, no. I think Mitch has the books. I think that Kat stole them. I think that's probably.
Oh, that's the line. Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
I have suspicions. I have me some suspicions. But yeah, and I think that there's a reason why Kat doesn't want to talk about Nicole that we have yet to fully uncover. And I feel as though now is the time for Herzog to try to find out why. So I think as
So
we
we're
begin...
establishing the scene.
Yes,
Okay.
I am. I think we're having our Q&A. I think that this will take place... I don't think she's going to want Herzog coming into her home, necessarily.
No.
Might be. I think it'll be somewhere at like the studio. But it's like we'll be sort of sequestered away. It's like there's a picture going on nearby. But so we're in like some kind of like a green room or a dressing room. And so sets are being moved all around in the background, and people are building things, tearing them down. Actors are getting ready, that kind of thing. But we've sort of closed off this sort of little area where we can do our interview. Do our Q&A here, and so Herzog's going to be he's going to be just sort of idly sort of leaning back against the one of the makeup tables, and so he's got his notebook out, and he says, "All right, so I think we can start this quite simply. From your perspective, what is it that happened with Nicole Hathaway?"
I think it seems pretty clear that she died of an unfortunate overdose.
I mean, that was an initial ruling, yeah, but there was still no reason in particular why she should have had those necessarily in the first place. Why, and she left no particular note, no particular way to indicate that she had. There's no indications that she had. She was into the drugs before that at all. Someone had to have brought them to her, and I think perhaps you might have an idea who that might have been. Am I right?
What makes you think I would know?
Oh, she was rather important. She was rather important to the studio at the time, yeah?
She was.
Top of a game, yeah?
Yes. Very popular. Well loved by the public and the studios. Beautiful, bright young woman.
Yeah. It seems to me that you would have taken some kind of an interest you take interest in your talent. You make sure they're taken care of. I know that's part of what you do.
Of course.
So
You think I would knowingly allow something like that to happen to her?
I think, well, yeah, I think she would have been too valuable for you to do that
So,
necessarily, unless you had some compelling reason, which I would say I have not seen significantly, but I simply wish to know. I think that you probably might have an idea who might have.
don't you think if I'd had an idea that she was falling into that sort of crowd, I would have done something about it?
I'm just curious as to I don't know how it is you could not know if she was falling into that sort of crowd. See, that's the thing. You're you have
Well,
a lot of
perhaps I did have an idea, and I feel guilty that I wasn't able to do something about it sooner.
well then.
But
I
as
think
they say, the show must go on.
I believe that if this guilt is something that is troubling you, would it not make some degree of sense to attempt to alleviate it at this point? And you want her to be remembered better than she was, since she currently is, yeah, just someone who overdosed.
Yes. I'd rather people say terrible things about me than about Nicole. She doesn't deserve that.
Ah. Well then. That being the case, would you not be willing to shine a little light on a little bit more, at least, on what it is you think happened? Truly? I don't think you believe that Nicole overdosed, not deliberately.
No, I don't.
Can you give me a name? Just something to work from. I'm considering doing something, but I need to know if this is going to end well or poorly for me first, so that I can figure out if I'm acting against my own interest or not.
I think, I mean, I have a feeling that it is ostensibly going well for you, but if I give you the name, it might lead to things going badly.
Oh yeah, well,
down the line.
no, that's entirely valid. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and because I just think it might be well, I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. So, for a moment, we sort of see Herzog sort of looks up, and he's like, as he seems to be having, very briefly, he's just like having an attack of conscience. And he's like, he sighs and he opens up his briefcase. and he takes out a big, thick manila envelope. And he says, I expect there's probably going to only be one way that you can trust I'm going to handle this well. And respectfully. So perhaps here. And he is going to set down on the table next to you the manuscript.
This is your new book.
It is. Giving it you a little earlier than I'd planned, but I think perhaps in this case it is warranted.
I'll flip through the manuscript.
Yeah, from just flipping through, bits there are going to be things that are exaggerated, but
Naturally.
there will be mentions of probably a few names in there that you might recognize, but not necessarily as sort of getting closer to the end. You can tell there's not necessarily as much of a definitive direction because there's clearly there are clearly a couple of holes, some important holes that need to be filled here to be able to complete it. Including basically there is probably in there somewhere. There's I don't know if he'd put it in the manuscript or not, but there's there are a few things in there that probably it's like he'd have to have some kind of inside source to be able to have put it in there. All right. If this is sufficient, I'll tell you what even. I'll give you the name I have if you give me the name you have. The one that's not in there.
Well, all right. Just so you know, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for her.
Of course.
Now we're gonna have to think of a name.
He will. He will. Basically, he will write. You see him take a piece of paper and he writes a name down on it. And he slides it over.
And she'll write down a name and slide it over as well.
All right, and I think that's where we end the scene.
That went too well.
That was much more serious than I was expecting that to come out, but it just sort of, yeah.
Well.
Sometimes that happens. I get to keep the die then.
Yeah, unfortunately, one
Act
die.
2. Yeah, that's quite all right. No, I play this game to lose. All right. I actually do have a name. If you want to see the name that's on it. the but if you like, we can reveal that at the appropriate moment. And it is Anino's turn.
Oh. Crap. Okay. I guess I would establish a scene by sitting at the diner and reading through the books that I had just made off with. But I'm not really sure what I would find in them.
Okay. Well, we can determine that it's we can choose whether it's going to go well for you or poorly, and then sort of figure it out from there. I think. I feel like this should go well. Probably.
Think so?
I think it should give you something.
What if it were an account of the Tony Clifton tragedy from the perspective of Claudia Black?
Ooh. That's good.
And that's why Kat has been killing the Morgan Project.
Oh. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. She got a hold of it's Claudia Black's journal.
Journals.
Journals,
Plural.
yes. This ties it all in. Yeah.
So just this revelation as he's flipping through these, like, and having have something else of Kat's handwriting, just doing the matchup thing, and then like the light bulb turns on, him reaching into that like accordion briefcase with all of his notes, flipping through, and then we just see as he opens a file, it's Claudia's face in an old photograph out in front of the courthouse, and then just the shock, like coming across our hitman with a heart of gold's face.
Yeah,
and then smash cut to someplace else.
Yeah, but as he's reading this, his mug slips from his hands and it drops in slow motion until it crashes into the ground and shatters.
Yes.
And he's going to say, "I'm going to kill her."
Oh my God.
Oh.
So clearly there's something meaningful going on. I can't wait to find out what it is.
Oh, hell.
Oh, that was good. That was so good. All right, I guess it's a white die. I mean, it could be a black die because of...
No, he got...
No, he got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted.
Heaven help him. All right, it's over to Alyssa.
Okay. So... not quite sure where to go next.
Well, you can resolve the scene we can establish in that case.
That sounds like a plan.
So
there's so much I want to know.
More for myself and less for the audience, but more for myself. What we have established so far is the journals were Claudia Black's.
Uh-huh.
They were stolen. She had them in her dresser drawer by her bed. There were... our hitman also has a monogrammed handkerchief from some sort of tete-a-tete that happened in the bedroom. 2 wine glasses, one with lipstick smears, the other no. And somehow this is tied up in Tinseltown and trying to prevent a book from being published and a film from being produced. Also, someone went to try and rough up / possibly kill Hammer. And there were 2 names exchanged. So, for Cat, not the one that's crossing behind Anino.
Oh yes, I can see
Where-
the cat. I see it.
Where do we put Miss Carlton?
I think something is coming around. Maybe. I mean, so right now my brain's not, for some reason, isn't connecting things the way that to everything. So I'm kind of the trope brain is activating again, and I'm thinking about some kind of second appearance of the well, no, actually that thug is no longer with us, so we don't have to worry about that thug. But yeah, there's a lot of things swirling around here. I think maybe that if I think we need to see someone. We need to see kind of perhaps.
Well, I have a question to ask before we establish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is Cat in a good place or a scared place right now after that meeting with Herzog?
Ooh. I think in a slightly precarious place, but it's, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad place necessarily. Or maybe it will be, but
Well, I'm looking for. There's this one question I really want to ask you, Alyssa, for Cat, because with all the tension that's going around, she's scared for someone. Who is she scared for? Is she protecting herself or someone else?
I think it looks like she's protecting herself, but she might actually be protecting someone else.
Okay. Do you know who that is?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it.
Thinking about it. Okay. I kind of want to force the issue. So, how's this? You're protecting someone, you're scared for somebody. You end up at Hammer's office. It's a scene between you and Hammer. You see that the office is a wreck. There's a bunch of cleaning people there. Hammer's there behind his desk, like got the classic like hunk of frozen beef over one eye. The again, tons of cleaning people. His secretary is not there. You're walking in, like walking over broken glass and stuff, coming into his office, and he's just there. Nice to see you.
Do I want to know what happened here, Harry?
You'll hear about it later.
Oh, I'm
Anyway,
sure I will.
so everything go well between you and Herzog?
Well, as can be expected, I suppose. He certainly
Removing the
is
meat.
persistent.
Yeah, removing the meat. Like, through, like, mostly swollen eyed, but just staring, like, hard at you. You gave him a name, didn't you?
Why do you ask questions you don't want to know the answers to, Harry?
I got roughed up by somebody said because they thought I was having an extramarital affair with someone significant. I'm here. They're not. I need to know if that visit is attached to that name. Kat, what did you get us into?
Nothing we
can't
weren't
keep-
already in.
You can't. I've been trying to keep your secret for years now. We're friends. All right? But if this is getting to the point where guns are being pulled, we're just going to have to try and spin things and weather the storm. You gave Herzog a name. We can't keep protecting her anymore.
I know.
So, I need to know precisely who you gave up in order to try and get ahead of this. What
You're
name did you give him? Did you tell him the truth or did you go with plan B? Kat, I need to know.
I told him the truth.
Oh, hell, Kat. Oh, hell. Okay. Okay. I understand why you did it. But you made this real hard on all of us. Pack your bags, get to Paris. Hopefully I'll see you there. I'll try and get her to you. Okay? I'll try. But
Thanks,
you've made a
Harry.
mess of things.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry too. Before we cut away, pulls open a drawer, grabs a pistol, and slides it into his jacket. That's where we end the scene.
So, since I think Alyssa chose to resolve, she gets to decide if this went well for her or not.
Oh, this did not go well for me.
Okay, you get a black die. Oh boy. Yeah. So this now goes over to Pope.
Okay. I'll establish this scene. I'll let you decide but I need to know ahead of time. Does this go bad, or does this go well?
I'm not sure what you're trying to do. Is all. So that's so it might.
We're going to meet up with the person whose name was given.
Oh, okay. Well, wait. Which one?
The one that Cat gave.
Okay. All right.
We're going to see Harry try as quickly as he can to get to them.
I feel as though this point in the plot, I feel as though this might go badly.
Okay.
But what do you folks think?
I mean, a stupid plan executed to perfection. I don't see how it's going to go well.
Got it.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to tell a little story, and then I'm going to take a black die. So we have that classic noir shot of a car peeling out, going from like Tinseltown up the rolling hills near Hollywood up to this small but well appointed house. Great view, but there's already multiple cars there. Harry gets out of his car, slams the car door shut, immediately pulls the gun. Walks in, walks up to the door. Door just opens. Inside, we see a beautiful young starlet being held at gunpoint by two other ruffians. We then cut outside. We hear an exchange of gunfire, muzzle flashes, and that's it.
All right. So there we go. Would we be good with taking a one more quick break at this point? I know we've only got only have half an hour, but I'd like to leap up for a moment if we're good with that.
All good.
I cannot wait to see what happens in the final round of scenes here. I think things are going to heat up quite a bit. So we will be back shortly. Stay tuned. Hello once again. Pope and I are going to talk a little bit more about Fiasco whilst we are on break, and it's an interesting thing that there is a new edition coming out very soon, I think. But there was a Kickstarter going on, and I backed the Kickstarter, and I'm very much looking forward to it. What all have you heard about this new edition that's coming out?
This edition takes a lot of the things that they've learned since its original inception and gears it towards more quick play. Like, one of the things that I have grown to love about Fiasco is it sort of puts you into the screenwriter's mindset. But with that, it's a lot more like a brainstorming session as it is in the original design. When you're doing dice, consulting the charts and all that stuff, it takes time. And it's not something that you necessarily get a number of reps in the course of a day. It's more, you get one really good session if you've got like 5-6 people. This, however, is more designed for quick play, more designed for casual play. It's going to come in a beautiful box. and it's multiple decks of cards. It's going to be a bit like one of the trends we're seeing in board gaming right now, where you buy a core set and then later on you can get the small expansions, almost like Legendary in a way, in that you get these expansions, you get a similar but new experience. And so it's going to come out with, I think, 3 play sets automatically, using all these cards. You'll have the base stuff so you can do your twists. And as we have seen within the gaming space, thanks to stuff like Cards Against Humanity, you can probably make your own cards and then throw those in and keep this game a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm also going to make it faster. I found the video, and actually, I mean, it's linked from their Kickstarter page, but I found an actual play video that they did during the Kickstarter that Jason Morningstar was in on, and some of their, they're other folks with whom they are acquainted, they just seeing them. The idea being that just every element is just got its own card, and you just shuffle them out, and you only go around twice instead of basically the 4 times at the beginning. And that struck me as something that's going to be a lot easier when that comes out, because that's going to be it's going to cut down not only on just the decision-making time, because it's like you've got these options sitting in front of you, and you can lay down one of them, and there it is. But it's also, I think, just going to cut down on the process time in general, because it is a lot faster to just do that instead of pick up a die, compare it to a number, figure out, is this the category, or is this the element, or is this the thing under the definition under the element? So I think that's going to be very helpful.
Also, I can't speak to your experience, but I can speak to my own, in that it is easier to get people to come and sit down for a board game or card game that is an RPG. Like, a lot of people look at an RPG as a commitment. We are committing to doing this thing on a regular basis, as opposed to something where this is something that's really cool that's just happening with the past 5 years, is this move towards an RPG experience that is a one-shot, is singular, is one and done, is quick, it's fun, it's light, and they're taking that concept, which we're seeing with game jams that are happening all over the place, and these small little games, and then putting it into an actual physical product that you can just pick up, put in front of your friends. It's easy to explain, especially anyone who's played any sort of RPG in the past but doesn't want to necessarily, or doesn't have the time to make that commitment. Bust it out, get in there, and possibly get in a day of gameplay, maybe all 3 play sets, or at least one that you can really just sink your teeth into, get it done before you have to go out and have dinner.
I mean, and that is in and of itself. I think it's brilliant that they're able to very easily, as it turns out, just convert the game into something that's a little friendlier for that, for folks. And I think you're right. People are going to come at a game that they see. Oh, they're going to think of it as a card game. It is an RPG, but they're going to think of it as a card game, and you're going to just sort of get in under the radar that way, and then they will be ours.
Well, it's also just with stuff like Apples to Apples, Cards Against Humanity, a lot of the judge-based mechanic games, or some of the like Once Upon a Time, the storytelling games that you're using cards with. We're already programming the community as a whole towards the usage of cards. And this is a great adaptation, going from something that a lot of us grew up with in late 80s, early 90s with dice and charts, to now this generation is programmed for carts. And here we go, this new revamp. It's definitely a step forward, but it still has that delightful train wreck taste that you have grown to love.
Absolutely. So I cannot wait for this thing to come out. It's got to be sometime soon. I can't remember exactly when it is, but I know we've got to be really close. We got to be really close.
I think it might be like next month. I think it's like late January. We're going to see the folks that back the Kickstarter get the physical product.
Yeah.
More than likely. And then usually with Kickstarters, if it does well enough, they might turn around, get a second run after fulfilling everything, and you'll be able to see some of this stuff on store shelves within 3 to 9 months of now. In which case, I'm going to definitely go to my LGS and probably pick up a copy. Awesome. As I suggest you all do, because this thing is going to not take up a lot of shelf space, which I know for some folks is a premium, and it allows you to, for some of your friends that may not be wholehearted into the RPG space, but you want to share that experience with them. So instead of necessarily busting out Werewolf or Mafia or any of those games, you got this. And I can guarantee you'll all have a great time.
Absolutely. Well, let us go forth and try to complete our own great time as we are. Hey, segues.
Is that a fire burning?
I don't know. It could be. I don't know. I certainly hope, future selves, that everything is on fire by now. I shall be terribly disappointed if that is not the case, but we shall see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll find out. So let's go find out. See you in a bit. We have returned, and now we have the last round of scenes to determine what it is that is what the heck is happening here. So for Herzog, I got to figure out this is Herzog's last scene, and I'm almost out of material here because I almost want to just resolve this one. And let people just sort of suggest the scene for Herzog, because I'm not completely sure how to end his how we see where we see him last.
Okay, so you get to resolve, we get to set.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to say good or bad?
There are so few bad dice left. I mean, I don't know. It's so, like, I think on the one hand, also keep in mind the last die is going to be wild one way or the other, so that'll be for your scene. But let's see, if I take the bad die now, I think it's going to probably, I feel like it'll look good right now, but it might end up bad in the aftermath, possibly. That's sort of what I was thinking, but I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I want it to end well or poorly for him, because I'm not sure what's happening.
Okay. So, if anyone else has a scene that they want to see Foster Herzog in, please jump in. Okay. You had a name, You got a name. And Foster knows more about this caper than anyone now. He's the most clued in to the Hathaway case. And he is a curious, ambitious man. He drives up to the house of the person whose name he got. Sees a bunch of cars out front and the front door open.
Yeah. Honestly, okay, I know how I'm going to resolve this. And this is, it's going to be very fast. It's going to be very simple. And I'm going to take a white die. Although, I mean, this isn't a great situation. But he's going to be like, so Foster looks at this situation. He knows a bad, the warning signs for a bad situation. He's learned that over the last decade. When to dip in and when not to. So, but realizing that time is probably of the essence here, he's going to see this, realize he doesn't really have much in the way of recourse. He doesn't want there to be more pain and his name dragged into more pain. So he's going to turn around. He's going to find a payphone and he's going to call the cops.
White die.
That's his scene. And so Anino, this is Mitch's last scene. Want to establish it?
All right. I think we're going to establish, and we're going to establish a scene where he is confronting Kat in her house, in her bedroom. So he broke in at night while people were sleeping.
Find Cat probably not sleeping, but packing a bag.
So the door to her bedroom closes suddenly, and you'll see Mitch in there, and he's looking very grave. He's dressed in a very prim and black suit with different shades of gray, pinstripes. He's also got gloves on and a gun pointed at her. And say, hey, I don't think you're going to be going where you think you're going tonight.
And where exactly am I going?
You can start by taking a couple of steps over to your balcony over there. It's pretty high up, 5 stories. I know, I climbed it.
That was you that managed to get past Duke, was it?
Yeah, well, it wasn't very hard. Honestly, your peacocks had me worried a little bit because those are some pretty ordinary birds. But yeah, so it's amazing that it's come down to this. And he's going to join her on the balcony, but make sure to be without like an arm's distance. because he's about to launch into a very melodramatic speech. So, I've tried to be a nice guy. I did my time in prison for those alleged murders. And I've reached for so many of these brass rings that glad-handing movie executives like you continue to put out there on... Oh, God. Wait. Mayday. Really? Precious, no.
Version comes up and rubs against your ankles.
Anyway, so and I've reached out for all of those brass rings, and it's just that they're all imaginary, and the only real thing here in Hollywood is me. The fact that I've been busting my cap over this script about the late great Polka King, and you've been shooting it down over and over again because you, and he held up, had these to fall back on. You were going to take my work and somehow get another writer to merge them together into a better script than what I gave you, and you were just biding your time until what? We gave up on this? Really? I love you too, Kat, but this is very poor timing. And biding my time so that I would quit on this dream of going on the straight and narrow and earning an more honest living. It just occurs to me that the real world is just much faker than movies are. So we're just going to have to resolve things a little differently now, aren't we?
And how's that, Mr. Morgan?
Well, either you start greenlighting my script, or we're going to have to write a new film about a backstabbing movie executive who will meet her untimely but justified end. So I think that's where the scene should just end. Right there on a cliffhanger.
Oh, man. So I feel as though that scene went well for Mitch. Which got what he wanted. I now feel terribly guilty that Foster did not contact Mitch and tell him that this thing was being greenlit.
And that's what makes a stupid plan go perfectly wrong.
Oh my God. So much happening. Alyssa, it's your turn. Would you like to establish or resolve?
Should we, No, I have the cat.
It's magic.
I suppose we should resolve what happens on this balcony.
So do you want to establish a scene on the balcony that that resolves that?
It seems pretty well established.
Or do you want...
But...
You want to resolve a scene?
Sure.
Okay.
Do your worst.
No, I'm going to do my best. Because, like, what dice are left?
Oh, there's a white die and a black die.
One of each.
You get a choice. Do you want this to end well, or do you want this to end poorly? Does this go well for Cat or bad for Cat?
Mm, maybe for once it goes well.
Okay. In that case, we see a feminine silhouette walking across the tarmac to a plane. We follow that female silhouette walking down the aisle of this plane next to a woman who looks like has just put herself and composed herself sitting on that plane. We then cut up to Cat's face smiling, opening the overhead bit compartment, putting a bag in, sitting down next to the other woman, and the two of them just holding hands. And then we see the plane taking off.
I'd like to just briefly, because we don't know what's going to happen in the aftermath, I'd like to hold off on the plane taking off just yet.
Okay, yeah. We see the plane, taxiing. Taxiing.
To taxi.
It starts to taxi, yeah.
Okay. All right, so this is the thing. We don't know what happened between the one thing and the other. For all we know, this could be a flashback. We're not sure. So you get the white die. Now, Pope, the die that remains actually could be either black or white for purposes of resolving this scene. In the final rolling, it'll be a black die. But do you want to establish a resolve?
I'm going to establish a scene, and how I'm going to leave it off, I'm going to let you guys decide. So, what we see, same house. Crane shot going from that open door with all those cars up above the house, craning over to seeing this beautiful pool, and just a man face down the pool. And then we hear the internal monologue. So, I'm guessing you're all wondering how I got here. Well, it all started. So why are black guys?
That sounds so familiar. I feel as though I kind of want it to be... It's sort of weird because I kind of want it to be a white die, but it's still to be basically Harold's corpse that we're seeing, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But that's just me. What do you folks would like to... What would you like it to be?
What's the verdict, friends? White or black?
I think it should be a white die. It seems like he set out to. I mean, he accomplished what he set out to do in the previous scene. So even if it didn't turn out for him well personally.
Fair enough. So I'll take that white die then.
Did you have any other bits of narration for that particular moment? Or shall we aftermath?
We should aftermath.
Okay, let's do the aftermath.
That's a wonderful setup for the aftermath.
All right. Well, time once again to roll the dice in your little box, and we will get to see. So, random side. Oh, that's going to come out not terribly well.
So I should have 3 white dice technically.
So let's see. I've got black 2. You've if I'm reading this right, you've got a total of 7 black and good lord, 11 white.
No. I was asking because that last die was random. I should be.
It's still a black die for purpose of rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still considered a black die now.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm just going to roll now. Random. Oh, nice.
Whoa.
2 black.
Me too. Let's see. Anino has 10 white and 8 black, if I'm reading those correctly. So that's 2 white. Oh, good lord, this is going down horribly for everyone. Alyssa, I see 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Minus 6 is 5 black, if I'm doing my math correctly. All right. So, going around here, I'm actually going to, on the aftermath table here, let's see. So Anino, you got 2 white, is that right?
Yes.
2 white. Merciless, you might not be dead on the outside, but you sure as hell are dead on the inside. The emotional or mental wounds you have suffered will never heal. The future is a brick wall. That is where you are aiming for with your ending. Alyssa had 5 black. Did I count that right? Okay.
Yep.
Black 5. Rough. You are getting whipped like a rented mule, for starters, and you will remember this episode for all your diminished days. The lesson you learned will be profound, lingering, and painful. So that's what you're aiming at. And both Pope and I got black 2, which is brutal. Wounds that will never heal, for starters. Stuff sawed off, blown off, or burned off on your way to grand, ignominious failure. Kiss whatever you care about goodbye. You may die, but you may not. So, let's see, what order do we want to do this in? I guess we can just keep going in the same order, if folks are all right with that. I think for Foster, Foster runs to call the police, but he doesn't make it, or he calls, but as he's hanging up, basically, some thugs are pulling up, just sort of beating their fists. And he basically ends up getting the crap kicked out of him, and just robbed the crap kicked out of him. And we see him hurled out onto the street, basically, and that's the last we see of him in this whole thing, as he tried for once to do the right thing, and it was the wrong thing, because no one wishes to help him at this point. Giving up that name was the wrong thing to do. And now we go over to Anino. What's the last we see of Mitch?
Um, so Mitch is out there on that balcony, and the thing is that he gets distracted because Duke ended up busting through the door. But Duke was so enthusiastic about his greeting for the sausage guy that he accidentally bumped Mitch off the balcony, and Mitch fell to his death.
Oh my god. Oh jeez. No one makes it.
And yeah, so he does that, and then as he's falling, it was really his future was a brick wall because he caromed off the brick wall in his fall.
Oh my god. Oh jeez. I have to digest that for a moment. Oh my god. Okay. That's yep. I'm worried for I'm worried for any other anything that's going to happen in the third episode to whatever character you're playing. Now, I'm seeing a trend. Alyssa, what happens to Kat?
Well, I feel like before the plane can take off, it is surrounded by police cars. And, well, the most painful part of it is there's a very stormy breakup.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Pope, it's the last we see of Harold.
Coming back to that pool scene. So, you're probably wondering how I got here. Well, that's just the thing about, Tinseltown. It's brutal. It's hard for everybody out here. And, well, this city lives and dies on reputations. Love something for someplace else. And good intentions, well, you end up here in a pool, face down.
Ooh. Oh. Credits. Oh, dang. That was a thing. That was definitely a thing. That took a much more serious turn than I was expecting. And I understand that was at least in part my fault, but still. This was cool. I really liked this story. Wow. So, we're gonna go around. Finally. And say any final thoughts we had about this session and where folks can find us. And I'm going to go, I went counterclockwise before, so I'll go clockwise this time, so it'll be continuing in the same direction we've been going. So we will start with Anino.
Hey everybody, my name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. So this was a fun stream. I think it was really great that we managed to keep a really good pace throughout it, and each character met a very appropriate end. You can find me streaming again this Friday evening at around 7:30, 8 o'clock on the Wandering DM channel for the debut of Cyberpunk Red, DM'd by Wandering DM. So that should be a good time. all the characters are pretty cool, and everybody is really anxious to get things rolling there. So, and then on Saturday night, you'll find me again on this channel for Invisible Sun at 8 p.m. Pretty sure we're going to have a game.
One can but hope. One can but hope.
Yeah, right.
We're getting close to those holidays around the end of the year, so people are getting squirrely. But no, I think we're good. Wow. All right. Over to Alyssa.
Folks, my name is Alyssa at Origami Shuriken on Twitter. I had fun with Kat. And yeah, it was fun to see all the twists and turns that we put into the plot and untangle all of that, and see everyone get their comeuppance. Sad as it may be. This story is depressing.
Oh.
Who greenlit this?
I love the idea of Kat critiquing her own story.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah.
That's like the after credit scene that we see after we get that very sad and very intense ending monologue by Harold. Then sort of after credits, it's like, oh, great,
cruel irony of Tinseltown.
Everyone's a critic.
I know, right?
So yeah. So that was fun.
Yay.
And now we'll go back to prepping for more games.
Yes, so many games. And Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Build on the Twitter and on the Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. That was a hell of a thing. First, I want to thank these wonderful people for this fantastic story. I love me some Noir, and we got a juicy train wreck. Thank you for indulging me and my Noirish ways. For those of you watching live, watching on VOD, watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us for this fantastic story. It wouldn't be the same without you. I love you, Jim. I hate you, Jim. This was a fantastic tale and shows you like the breadth and depth of what Fiasco can be, and sort of touches on the point of, guys, everything is just a suggestion. We're playing games. So if you want to go and take something like Fiasco and twist it slightly to do a more dramatic game, you can. You've got the license. You have the power. Tell the stories you want. And this is an amazing example. We still got to some funny parts, and we got some lows. We got some serious stuff. We touched on some serious subject matter, but it was all good. It was all good and all tasty, and I'm so glad to be here. I'm looking forward to where this goes next week. And if you want to see more of my silly face, you can check out over on Matev7's channel this Sunday for Dreadful Beat of DJ Strahd, something completely different, but almost as ridiculous. And then on Monday over at Tales from the Grim, we continue our stories in the Weird West for Road to Desperation, Deadlands. And then as the year is coming about, I've heard some rumors about some masked superheroes, so keep your eyes peeled over at Tales from the Grim for that. And through the grapevine, there may be some masks about on this channel, so keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, take care, everybody.
All right, well, folks, that's we've come to the end of yet another episode. Next week, we are going to conclude our trilogy with the playset Hollywood Wives, which is very much a thing kind of in the vein of, it talks about, TV things, Desperate Housewives, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but then also things like Get Shorty, Intolerable Cruelty, Down and Out in Beverly Hills, sort of that kind of area of things. So it's It's I think it's going to be definitely a different take, and it's going to be much more close to modern day. And we'll find out the specifics of that next time. I don't know if we'll be able to bring any characters over, not the least which is because half the cast is dead. But we'll see. We'll see. I think the effects will be felt. This will have happened, and so we might bring over something thematic this time. We'll see. But that aside, I am Jim. This is my channel. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, and YouTube channel. Indeed, on Saturday evenings, we have our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox, which we've been doing some awesome stuff in. Last time, a lacuna imploded, and hilarity resulted, or things like it. And actually, it was very bittersweet. It was interesting. On Sundays, we do one-shots. This Sunday, the one-shot will be To Serve Her Wintry Hunger. That is a game I'm going to be running where the players are winter spirits hunting down their prey. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, on Monday nights, I'm over on Tales from the Grim running Deadlands, The Road to Desperation. They've found themselves on a hill with a bunch of crows, and I am delighted to see what's going to happen when they engage with them. And then, of course, Tuesday night, 1 week from today, we will have the conclusion to our Tinseltown trilogy here, with one more session of Fiasco. Might be a little bit lighter in tone, that one. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It could just be just as noir as these two. I don't know. And that's the exciting part. But sign-ups are open at this point, again, until tomorrow for Masks, a game of Masks that we're going to have on this channel starting in January. So if you want to sign up to play young superheroes in a game that's powered by the apocalypse, last chance. So that's open. Sign-ups have just opened for a one-shot I'm going to be running later in this month of Cthulhu Invictus. It's Call of Cthulhu in the time of ancient Rome, and the theme shall be Saturnalia, for it will be around that time. So that's just opened. You can click on RPG sign up down below, or go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on Game Sign Up, and it'll be there. As always, beginners are welcome. So when we hit the end card, let me see. Yeah, Off the Table is playing Alas for the Awful Sea, a game we did on this channel last month. They have an excellent campaign. I think we're going to go raid them. So that's when we hit the end card. We're going to go say hi to them. Feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us if you are so inclined. Again, that will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next week. Farewell.